Apparently we're fine.
Tom Jones warm up.
That should be us
Are we
troops.
going to do an official go in this time?
The what?
Or are we going to reintroduce ourselves or are we just going straight in?
Don't think we need to reintroduce ourselves.
Nah, I love when my man look, you look like you're moving. You got like halfway at my screen.
Right.
Who wants to go first?
You can go first. I need to thingy to my chat for a second. If you could.
Oh yeah, take it. Fire in. I've got a cup of tea here anyway.
One of my viewers has got an ad, so that's kind of put a spanner in the works. Steg, how's it going? You can get a Hoya. Steg's got his own.
Oh
Steg's got his own command, right? So if he types in, exclamation mark Hoya, that comes up.
Right, and we need to see it.
Yeah, you don't need to see it. I usually don't see it. But for this one, it's a very special. It's a very special occasion. Is that you? It's still fucked. It can't be still fucked, but I don't believe you.
It is a wee bit. I seen the lag.
I can see kinda, but
Just joined my van. It's fucking not like.
it's this laptop, right? It shouldn't be doing this. It's still fucked. That was loud as fuck. Right, Infinity. What you were asking some questions during the my computer specs. My computer specs is a 10. It's a 1080 or is it 1060? It's a 1060 GTX 1060 GTX Ti. I don't know, one of the ones. 1060 with a Ryzen 5 processor and 16 gig of RAM. But why are you asking for a description that's something to do with the Discord? Okay. Most literally might be your chat. Yeah, it's something else. It's something to do with the Discord. Okay.
That's about a second delay in that video.
Aye.
At least.
But it's like coming and gone. It's literally like a split second.
No, it's my laptop.
Is it? I could. If you tell me a bit more about it, I could send you the picture. Obviously, understandably, I'm not just going to send you the picture right here. I was thinking of adding about me section so you could explain yourself. It's something for off stream. Okay. Quite a good thing you saw.
I wasn't following. I'm on news editor. I'm ready to go.
He's ready to go, but
What?
we can come into the stream later on the day and we'll talk about this for now. But let's get in with the news.
I think we should. Is this not why we're here? It is the Peace, Love and Happiness podcast, Alternative News.
I forgot why I was here, to be honest with you.
I've lost purpose in all life.
So
This is why we're doing this podcast, to reconnect.
I'm here for the podcast. He's here for the podcast.
Who?
Him.
Infinity?
Infinity.
Oh well, he's giving us the green light. Let's go
That's
then.
it.
Let's go.
His tag is literally green. So let's do it.
Ah, you want to go first on Monday then? Or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Age before beauty?
Aye.
Probably the only positive news that I found for the full week. Because it is actually hard to find. Me and Lewis have found it, Highland Radiator, have found it very hard. I know. Alright, thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't tell them my name.
It's green on my screen.
But it's, what's his name? It's actually very hard to go and find positive stuff that's happened in the week.
It is. Solid.
Even if you basically can't use any like news stuff. You need to go into like crazy wee websites like YouTube channels that are devoted to try to post positive stuff. So that just shows you the climate we live in the world. But I found that during lockdown, there was this town in Wales, right? And it was like right next to the big valleys and mountains. So there's like mountain goats that are up there.
Yes.
And there's like they're in the hundreds. And usually they stay out the town because of the people and they don't really mix well.
Mm-hmm.
But see, because of lockdown, they've took over the town. So there's literally a video of like a gang of 80 mountain goats just running through this town and up in people's walls in their bins and all that, in the swingy, in the park. Just being the hooligans.
That's mental, isn't
It looked like a wee post-apocalyptic world where the goats had rised up and took areas.
That is mental.
That was really positive and uplifting because I just seen these videos and I thought, look at them thrive when humanity's not there.
See, as city boys, we don't see that at all.
I know.
There's barely the most wildlife we see on a daily basis is a fox.
Aye.
Pigeons.
Pigeons, mate. See shit tons of pigeons. Squirrels. Some wee squirrels cutting about. No deers or shit.
No,
people see deers quite a lot, I know.
I used to see deer up in when I stayed in Uddy. See if I'd
It's a bit further out, isn't it?
see if I'd sneak away from school for a wee funky fig.
Oh, aye, I like your funky fags.
Aye.
Aye.
I'd be walking about on my Todd as I would, and there'd come a wee deer, just a wee doe. It was always a doe. You never actually seen a deer. I don't think I've ever seen a wild deer, but it was a wee doe just plotting along.
I've seen numerous deers, I'm sure.
With the horns and all that.
Aye, but no big antlers and shit like that.
But that's
That's a different.
that's a stag in it.
That's a different beast altogether.
Alright.
And then that was the positive. But I had the Monday blues, so I want to talk about the Monday blues.
The Monday blues.
Aye, because like it's literally songs about it, right?
Aye.
Tell me why I hate Mondays. It's like even if you work 7 days a week or like work every weekend and the weekend's just normalised to you and it's not separated like a working week, there's still like a collective Monday blues, isn't there?
Oh, aye. Like even if you're not working, even if you're sitting on your ass doing fuck all, and you have done for the last fucking year, you still wake up and go.
Mondays hit different, don't they?
Aye.
They definitely just hit different, regardless of whatever mental state you're in,
You
or
have
whatever you're doing.
You might be having like a bad day or something like that, and then you just look and you're like that. It's actually that explains it. It's Monday.
Like my Monday last week there was a nightmare for me. I was hungover. I wanted to be in the house, wrapped up in quilts, listening to David Attenborough.
I can't even remember Monday last week.
See, the only reason I remember Monday is because I made a mental note of it for this. Else it would have been nothing. Pardon me.
I think I tried to play Warzone.
Oh shit. Yours was so much worse.
I tried to play Warzone, and I fucking hated it. I couldn't get into it. I streamed it for about an hour and a half maybe, and it just stopped.
I've gave up on it.
Aye, he gave up not a long time ago.
A year ago or something.
Aye.
And we won. How many games did we win it? You know what I mean? A good few. Me, you and us. But so then obviously with the Monday blues, right?
Yes.
Being hungover, a wee bit more depressed, negative thoughts and stuff like that, right? I got asked a question a couple of months ago, right? And it's like and it's like, see if you, and it came into my head because I'd answered it back then, right?
Yes.
Well, I was having a good time and I was happy and I was uplifted and shit like that. But then, fast forward to when it came into my head a month later, it's like, see if you know everything there is to know about life, is it worth living?
That's a good question.
And shout out to the dude that made it. He does his podcast and it's the dude that was got to be on with, do you know what I mean? Dun. So I'll probably be doing it in a month or something, but that's the question that he'd devised over his life to ask people. And he said the answer's always yes, and at the time I answered
That's
it no.
what I'd say yes.
Because I right, and this is my counter argument to it, right? Because what is a human being's purpose in life? To make it better for the next one's coming. Would you agree?
Yes.
Reproduce and make it better. So if we're in an environment where it's impossible for us to make it better because of how shit it is, what's the point in living? And I said that to him straight across the table, and he's like, Do you know what I mean? Like,
You make a good point, but there's still the...
Yeah, because there's always human hope and there's always...
Yes,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
I get that, but like right now, if you got sold your life before on, right, you would probably say, I'll veto that one and I'll try another one. Wouldn't you? That's my point then. So I dived deep into that on Monday and I was like, really the only point is you would just get fucked up and you would just like disconnect as much as you could. So then that's how you can almost tie people into like drug addiction and alcohol abuse and everything.
And Vintage just said in the chat, damn, this got deep. That's what this podcast is about.
That's what I'm saying.
It can be anything light-heartedness. Like, there's one on my list that's quite far down, but I'll just think it anyway. Like, it's quite a sad one, but quite a random one as well. Barack Obama's Doug Bo passed away on Friday night.
What's that, man?
No.
Oh, Doug's go to heaven. Let's just
Oh,
say
aye.
that's it. He's got a bit of DMX.
Who's
Doug? Me lose my mind.
Big Barry O.B. Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
His dog passed away. No.
Sending my condolences to Mr. Barack.
As far as I know, that was quite a famous dog. There's a lot of pictures of it.
Was it no decorated? Did it not used to be serving the army and all that?
Aye.
Some crazy
Yeah,
shit.
it was a wee black dog.
Mm-hmm. A lab? Was it no? Was it not a lab?
I don't think it was a lab.
No?
Maybe.
Yeah. That's heartbreaking. But have you got anything else that happened on Monday?
I've not had anything structured through it this week. I've just got random bits. and
Shits to
bobs.
pop in. Alright,
Aye.
well, cool. Then we can just put it in anywhere. Do you know what
Yes.
I mean? You want to Tuesday? You like this? Tuesday? What date was Tuesday?
Tuesday was
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th.
May the 4th for all you Star Wars fans out there. I hope you had a fucking amazing day cutting about it.
I seen a really fucking funny thing on TikTok. It was Jack Black.
Did
Did
you
you
see that when he jumps in and goes, and then it was just there was
They
another.
reenact the scene for Revenge of the Sith.
Aye,
with Obi-Wan.
he's on the other one's shoulders. He's steering it fucking back. Yo, go and check this out, man. Honestly, so it to Jack Black.
He still got it.
He's a special human being, man. He's a special human being.
Something else. Resident Evil 8 came out this week, and last night I finished my playthrough it.
Go and check it out. Go and watch it. That's a good plug on that there. So that's a good plug. That's a professional plug.
Now, if you can't be asked going to watch the 12 hours worth of gameplay that I did in 2 nights,
That would be me.
I'll quickly break it down for you.
Good shit.
6.5 out of 10. Now I would have gave it a 4. I would have gave it a 4 if it wasn't for one segment in it, which was a freaky fucking dollhouse segment where you literally get chased by a fucking fetus, a giant fetus. Mental.
Alright.
The game.
See, I heard you say fetus, and
But
my
it
brain
makes
said feces.
Aye, you're just chased by a giant bobby. A bobby, not a big Joby.
You're just chased by a big bobby. What do you call? What's your nickname for your? Is that the shit stick? You are hit with my shit stick.
You get chased by a giant fetus, which is meant to be the fetus of the character's baby, and brilliant design, spooky as fuck. The whole segment spooky as fuck, and then the ending's spectacular. But the rest of the game is mediocre as they come. As mediocre as they come.
I honestly think Resident Evil's never like. Now this is because we separate a bit, right? Because obviously you grew up when they were like in the later stages.
Aye, they were shite.
Aye, I played the first one and it was one of the scariest things I've ever played.
Oh,
but I
aye.
think it's just because it was so different for any other game that was out there at that time.
Well, with Resident Evil 7 that came out in 2017, that was terrifying. Like, I'm sure anybody that played that game agrees that it is a terrifying game. And it's got VR support, and I've played it VR all the way through and normal all the way through, and I still think it's fucking terrifying. Like, the setting, the characters, everything about it is absolutely terrifying.
And I haven't even played it,
Exactly.
so I've missed a lot of it.
Yes,
the
exactly.
recent stuff.
It's
So.
basically a reboot of the Resident Evil series, and it's fantastic. A fantastic game. But then they brought this one out, and it's just no it. And what gets me is it's got a 9 out of 10 on Steam, and 8.5 out of 10 on Metacritic. It's got like overwhelmingly positive reviews, but I genuinely think the reviews are just Resident Evil.
Aye.
Resident Evil. There's a big hot vampire woman in it. Resident Evil.
And just paying homage to the trilogy.
Yes.
And just saying, oh, cause it's Resident Evil, it needs to be like no lower than 8 out of 10. Just because it, but the fact of the matter is, I don't know, man. I think the last one I played might have been 4 or 5, to be honest, bro.
They were. I'd say 5 was the last.
Was that the copper and the chick? Or I know that some of them have died in that, right? But the one that I played, you could definitely go either the male police
Resident Evil 2. Which they recently remastered.
I'm only 6 games behind then.
And I did a full playthrough on my channel. If you're
Go
interested.
watch that.
Brilliant.
See, we should actually have a plug sitting somewhere, right?
Aye.
And we just go, just pick it up, plug in a chain.
Telling you. Resident Evil, fantastic series, but I wouldn't waste your money on it. Just watch a playthrough it.
Yeah. And if you don't play games, then none of this really done
It
anything
doesn't,
for you.
aye. Exactly. It's just
Apart from when he called his Bobby
Joby Bobby.
Bobby Joby. And your Bobby. Right, what's next?
What
What have I got?
Aye, you.
I gave you the Star Wars Day, but I'll give you another one. This is tied in again to some space stuff,
Alright.
right? Because we were witness to some history through the week there,
Yes.
and it was for the first time in 53 years, since
53 year.
1968,
Mhm.
NASA landed a rocket, a space expedition, at night on Earth.
Nice one.
Mm-hmm.
Was that not a SpaceX one?
I think it might have been actually.
I'm sure it was a space.
It got delayed because of weather in Florida.
It got took up to orbit and then came back down, didn't it? Safely.
Aye,
It was the first.
aye.
It was. Wasn't it just the first one in that? I mean, length of time to land at night. It was also the first successful SpaceX flight to take somebody up to orbit and safely land them back
Yeah,
down.
because it was 2 of them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first ever.
It got delayed by 12 hours because of bad weather in Florida, supposedly. And they came down at night, and it was like, honestly looked like the crazy. You should go and Google this or go on YouTube. This honestly, it looks like I seen it in a movie. I'm sorry, it does. It just looks like the biggest load of shit ever. But never mind.
Well, actually,
Oh.
on that thingy, the China rocket that
I've just.
that's just started. The first sighting of that coming down.
Mhm.
was
I've actually got that
spotted
noted.
yesterday.
I've got some stuff about that, so I have.
Mhm.
If it's the same one, I don't know. Do you want to just go straight into that?
Go for it.
That's for the natural flow. It's the same China one that's been tracked all over the place.
Aye.
Now, they don't actually know where it's going to come down, and
Yes.
there's a high possibility that it's going to come down in a civilian area.
Oh, aye.
And this
Of
is a
course.
30-metre rocket. So it is, so you can imagine the damage if it comes down, and even in part debris into it all. And obviously America's gone crazy about it. They're tracking it just now, and they're saying it's negligence for China, and they're not taking into consideration the safety of other people.
Mhm.
And I can't really think, what is the purpose of the rocket? What is it doing?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think anybody
Was it a
knows.
satellite or something like that? Was it
Aye,
meant to
aye,
be a
satellite.
satellite?
And there's, aye, for what I had picked up on it, I had parts with it, and as that flew up into orbit and started circling,
Uh-huh.
it was depositing different bits somewhere. So maybe it is them setting up satellites or something. I don't.
According to Infinity, bits of it landed in the Indian Ocean.
Was that already started landing then, bro?
Aye, that's what the first one was. The first sighting, it like the actual the bit that they didn't know where it was going to land was spotted in China. I'm sure it was in China actually. I think it was yesterday or Friday.
Because that's what they said. They'll
It was
only
just
know.
a big burning fireball in the sky
Like, they said they'll only know when it's going to hit.
when it hits.
2 hours beforehand.
Aye.
That's lucky.
Aye, exactly. And that's an estimate.
It's crazy that there's so much. Seems to be so much space activity going on in there. Everybody's launching rockets up into the air.
Aye, it's
doing
because
some
everybody's
shit.
shiting themselves there.
How's what, the state of the planet, or do
Aye.
they know something's happening?
They're the state of the planet.
Do you know what I mean?
What is this?
Nobody can really deny.
The Chinese rocket has come down. Breaking news.
Breaking news: Infinity.
And our source Infinity.
Shout out to Infinity.
The Chinese rocket has come down the 23-ton core stage of a long March
Came down last night.
5B booster crashed back to Earth on Saturday night,
I don't actually need these glasses. Actually, make it hard to
ending 10 controversial days aloft that captured the attention of the world and started a wider concept about orbital debris and responsible spacefaring. The Long March 5B re-entered the atmosphere over the Arabian Peninsula about 10:15 p.m. Saturday night. That's about 2:15 GMT time on Sunday. So last night I was awake. I would have just been finishing Resident Evil. According to the
I don't
US
know,
Space
the
Command,
spaceship.
it's unknown if the debris
impacted on the land or not. Come on. How do meant to know it's landed, but they don't know if it hit land or no? Come on.
I reckon it destroyed
What are we really talking about here?
I reckon it destroyed
What are you
a
talking about?
little population.
I guarantee you, somebody's just been wiped off and they're going to go,
Well, no shit.
How can they know it's landed and know what it's
Well,
what is landed?
what is in the Arabian Peninsula?
A what? Is it not a big area?
No, it's a peninsula, so it can't be that big an area. Or else it would just be.
A landmass?
Aye. It apparently started disintegrating when it re-entered the atmosphere. Aye, that's why they were worried. I believe that's why they were worried that it was all going to come just.
Right, it could come down in one big pit and just like.
Could have hit us, but didn't. No,
Yeah. Just to run out and catch us.
It'd be funny if it fucking Hulk came out and just been like that here.
On Tuesday, I don't know if anybody else seen it, but it ties in with Space and all. We had the first Superman
Oh.
of the calendar year, and some of the images that are like, you need to really see this. Honestly, like I don't even know. We can't break.
You can't show up.
No, I wasn't got to show him. I just got to show you.
me.
Like, you go and Google this if you are into your moons and you
Superman
like, and you like. I think it was
2021.
It was Tuesday, and some of them, especially like Turkey and stuff like that, some of the images, the moon is like literally 4 times, 5 times the size it should be. It just doesn't look real again. That was my last news this Tuesday. We move on to Wednesday, where you can just inject.
I'll inject this. This was Friday, I think it was. But Scottish politics here.
So I've got a couple of things.
Nicola Sturgeon had won the majority of the Scottish election with 60.2% of the votes. That's absolute. She was one of the first. She was one of the first MPs to actually get the thing that she'd won a constituency and she'd go back to South Side of Glasgow. And now she's back as the First Minister, and I think she's trying to push for a second independent, she's definitely trying to push for it. It should. I'm excited to see where this has got to go.
Parliament's already put a blocker on it. That's one of my things. Nicky Sturgeon is raging with the UK government because they're trying to put a stop on a second referendum. They're trying to stop it.
Well, listen, Nicky.
We back you.
Get
Free the unicorn forever.
Get them told. Get the Tory bastards told.
And see if they don't listen, just get a lot back to it.
Exactly. You have to fuck it. Where's she for again?
No.
I thought so. Again, like, somebody said that. She was like her constituents. I'm going to look that up real quick. Nicola Sturgeon. Where's she for? I know she's a heavy scheme lane, but
This is for one of what's his name? Sponsors, Iron Brew.
I don't think you're allowed to say that.
I was joking.
For legal purposes, we are not sponsored by Brew or any of the partners.
But it makes up like 50% of the liquid that's in my system. I am Iron Brew, man.
Where is she for? Let's go jump on the old Wikipedia. That'll tell us.
That never lies.
Never. She is from.
She's actually not got a birthplace because she's a lizard person.
She's Fervin.
That's disgusting.
Aye.
That's bogging. Seriously?
She's Fervin.
Nicky?
Apparently, according to Wikipedia, she's Fervin.
Fair play, you think well done. Proud of you. You're doing us proud, so there is.
Only good thing to come out of Ayrshire.
The scheme was no bad, that television show was that no Ayrshire. Remember? Happy as Larry.
I don't think Scheme was for Ayrshire.
Is it not?
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was all other. I'm sure it was up north somewhere.
Nah, I'm not 100% right. So, on Wednesday, I fell down a rabbit hole.
You fell down a rabbit hole.
Aye, but no a literal one, because I'm pretty big and a rabbit would need to be fucking huge to dig that
A
hole.
figurative rabbit hole.
Aye.
Of what?
There's a... Between... Do you know how I'm a con... Oh no, that's not... Oh shit, I forgot how to speak.
We've offended somebody in the chat that's asking why it's disgusting from being from oven.
No, it's not disgusting. No. It's not disgusting that it's people are for oven. It's disgusting that we didn't know she was for oven. That's like as news reporters and people that know what's happening in the world. We should
I
have known that
wouldn't
Nicky
s-
Sturgeon.
I wouldn't say it's disgusting being for Irving. Irving is disgusting though, and I think that the only thing I'll say bad about it.
That's your opinion. You can't just say something factual is disgusting. There could be people here that says, just say, under my opinion, I think it's bogging. Do you know what I mean? I just thought
Under my opinion, and the
Thank you.
majority of the Scottish people.
You make it worse. Every cunt up who's got to come and ready up to fucking do you in? Are you for Irving? Who's for Irving?
It's Mara.
Oh, right. I still bogging then.
See, if sound alerts on the button. That was he realised that he knew you, and he can. That's you'll know this about Mick. He won't offend you unless he knows you. So if it's just a random person, like he wouldn't offend.
It's the way of life, but because you need to meet somebody and know them before you can get away with it, because then it's not really offence.
That's where me and you differ.
How? You offend everybody straight after the gate.
Yes.
So does everybody in the world.
Yes.
So I'm the different.
That's the way I like
I'm the anomaly. I know that.
That's the way I like it.
I'm a nice dude until I either know you or I see you.
I don't know anyone named Irving. Irving's a place in
Oh, he's
Ayrshire,
American.
Scotland.
Irving's Infinity is American. Breaking news, that's just in. Our number one fan is American. Peace across the water. Where else have I got?
What else have you got?
Oh right, the rabbit hole I fell down. I forgot whether I
Yes.
even known that because I forgot how to speak. I like to, do you know what I mean, look into the planet and see how it's going right. And obviously there's a big thing about. We touched on it last week that they found plastic at the bottom of the Mariana Trench.
Yes.
So I fell down a rabbit hole of the fact that they think that 3 billion tons of plastic goes into the sea each year. So there is 5 points where the currents of all the Earths create almost like a wee whirlpool at the top of the sea level. Now for like the last 40 or 50 years they've thought that's where the majority of the plastic would be. Us floating at the top in this big, and see if you actually go and Google it again, you see like big massive bits of plastic, do you know what I mean? Like almost mini wee islands of plastic all sitting at the top, but research showed that only makes up for 10% of all the plastic that's in the ocean. That gets in each year, so they were like wondering where's the other 90%
Fishing nets.
of the plastic gone.
Fishing nets.
No, what? Fishing nets don't stay in there. No, like I'm talking about like plastic bottles, shop like baskets. There was all sorts of fun at this. Bottle caps, plastic bags, all of that stuff. Actual waste. No fishing nets. Fishing nets probably make up a part of it. Like ripped fishing nets.
It's a big part of it.
No, they think that quite a lot of it's thrown down. So they try to make up the 100% but the bigger thing is that the majority of the plastic that gets emptied into the ocean by waste on humans ends up 50% or 40% it ends up back on the beach. So then we can pick it back up and take it before it gets back into it. So that's a slightly positive aspect because we thought that as humans that 90% of our waste was in the ocean, whereas 50% is literally getting sent back to us because of how cool nature is.
Aye.
Like nature's literally developing a way to
Yes.
us being messy bastards. Like the water's like, come on guys, come on. I've got fucking turtles out here strangling to death on 6-pack clips. Come on.
Because, and I agree with that. Humans are arseholes.
Facts. I'm no, but that's just your opinion. I'm not an arsehole. I'm definitely not. So what, we on to Thursday now?
I think so, are we?
Fucking flying through this week.
So
It
we
was,
are.
it was voting day in Glasgow, innit? You can go into there. That was a voting day in Glasgow.
Did you vote? I put him on the spot there, didn't I?
No, I didn't vote. I don't believe in politics, parliament, anything like that. I think I may as well like just walk into there and say, you can vote for, take my vote and do whatever you want with it. It's pointless. It's an illusion that's sold to the people that we have a say what happens in this society when really we're just the fucking sheep, mate. You're
Oh,
the shite on
of
the
course,
bottom of the shoes. They'll do what the fuck they want, when they want, and it'll have, and we won't even be in it. We won't even have a say in it. So that's why, so on voting day, I would do Nanty.
Well, in my opinion,
And you're entitled to your
yes,
opinion.
in my opinion,
Yep.
I agree with everything you just said, but the moral implication of going out and putting the vote in, say, it, in my head, the way I justify that is, at least I tried.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree with you. But I don't have it in me to try with that anymore. If that makes sense.
Completely makes sense.
Do you know what I mean? When
But funny, like, I'll tell you a funny story, right? Now I was on the phone to my mum, on the day,
Pause.
on the day, and she was like, I was like, you got to come up and vote. And she went, no, I can't. Aye, well, actually, I'll come up. And then about halfway through the phone call, she went, you know what? I'm just got to leave it. I can't be asked. And she went, who gets my vote though? Is it the Tories? And I went, aye, it's the Tories. And she went, oh fuck that. Hey, I'm on my way. I'm on my way down. I'll get you there. I went, that's good on you, Kathy. Good on you. I don't know if it is the Tories that get the vote. It's
Just use that opportunity.
Yep.
Respect to you for that. Go to my office, go to voting and something that's completely irrelevant.
Yep.
Okay, man. That's just my opinion on politics.
probably
It's just my views.
talking about politics. Something not really relevant at all. Sadiq Khan was re-elected.
I seen that. I seen that as well when I was looking at the news. But again, completely irrelevant. Fun fact: I was actually born there.
Have you seen your mother yet? Yes, I seen her on Thursday on voting day. If that was meant to be some kind of joke or pun, it just said good.
That felt like a private joke.
It did, but it just said good. I seen her. Aye, she's fine, brand new. Thank you for asking.
I've not seen her on the edges, but
No, it's
That's
Mother's
mad.
Day. It's Mother's Day weekend. Is it?
no, it's no.
No, it's not. In America, maybe. Remember, it's different here.
Aye, man. Don't do that to us.
I fucking shat myself there. I was like,
Can't
"Oh,
even-
Mother's Day. What? I've not seen her the day. No. Last I seen her was Thursday on voting day.
I'm not. I've only got a couple more, so
Right, I'll fire in, right?
You take the reins.
A continuation. I was saving this for last, but a continuation for last week's finishing one. John Barrowman
Oh my god! What
has
the-
came out and admitted to tomfoolery on the set of Doctor Who, and said foolish tomfoolery, and that's all I had to say about it.
So he's basically said he has got his dick out and slap people with it and put it on the shoulders.
Aye, and he said basically he said it's a joke.
Right, Tom
It
Furley.
came
I know,
too
but
far.
that's again tying back into something. I don't think I should. John Barrowman must know the fact that even something to a joke as him might not have been a joke to somebody else,
Oh,
and they might not have been able to bring it up because of the environment they're in, which is the acting, and you know the rumours about all actors need to suck a dick to get where they're going.
Aye, check.
Or they're being
Aye.
butt fucked or something.
Oh, aye, of course,
or like, then all the child stars, and like, we could go into this. We could really go deep into this.
Mm-hmm.
But Corey Feldman, do you know what I mean? There is many child stars that have came out with wild
Oh, aye, of course,
I'm
aye.
not going to say wild allegations. I'm going to just say they came out and said some fucked up shit happened back
Aye.
then.
100%.
So then in that environment, like, say it was the female that supposedly stuck the bobby on the shoulder. Aye, like she might feel that in that environment that she's in, which is like a mile round place and blah blah
Yes,
blah,
yes.
and women have came out and said they've had to sleep with producers to get roles and stuff. That she might feel like there's no point in me saying it because I'll get victimised and it might happen to me now.
Well, see, yes, it is an 18 plus stream. Infinity. It should be anyway. I don't know if Twitch has changed that, but it should be.
Mine should have been.
It's how you set it. But
And I'm not throwing shade on top. I'm not throwing. I'm just looking at it from all angles. Because see, for a certain situation, you hear a bit of information and you act off it through your own personal regards.
Uh-huh.
And I think that more humans need to develop a stage where they can take their own personal needs
yes.
out, or what they feel about a situation, and look at it from different perceptions and look round the way. Do you know what I mean?
Well, apparently that's. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but apparently that's why Christopher Eccleston left Doctor Who.
Because of John Barrowman's dick.
Because of John Barrowman getting his dick out, and because of how everybody was just kind of like that. Apparently, that seems to be why. I might not be true.
Yep. There's rumours. Mm-hmm.
Yes, the current rumour is that that's what it was, because it's been a long-standing like question of why he left so soon, and all he said was he had a fallout with a BBC higher up, but now it's coming out that it could have been John Barrowman getting his dick out.
So it is ruffled feathers, and it's like, but as I say, man, I don't think there's any malice in it with what John Barrowman's doing. It doesn't feel like that. Like for what he portrays himself to be when he's on screen, and that he just seems like a light-hearted, funny guy. You know what I mean? So I ain't throwing shade on him or anything.
No, 100%, no.
In that environment, that somebody might not be able to tell you that they don't like it.
Yep. People
aren't always able to verbalise stuff that they don't like about this life.
A bit of a weird one I found. It was just this morning. I was browsing, and bottles of a artisanal spirit made using apples grown near the Chernobyl nuclear power plant were seized by the Ukrainian authorities the other day.
Wow. 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 I mean, let's just break this down. What are we talking about right now? Let's break this down.
So, an alcohol spirit made using apples that were grown near the Chernobyl nuclear power plants. Reactor number 5. Was it 5?
I'm sure it is. But what was Chernobyl? Chernobyl was like the greatest, or not the greatest, sorry, the worst nuclear disaster in mankind's history. And nuclear. It is. It's I'm sure.
Accidental nuclear disaster.
When that number 5 went. So right next to where that reactors went, there's fruit trees. Now, nuclear waste is radioactive, goes into the, and people are making booze with it.
Oh, exactly.
We had something in the podcast last week about the Chernobyl disaster, and it was the fact that the relatives of the people that were around at that time and the childs that were born were showing no sign of mutation for it. So maybe the apples might be brand new.
I've just noticed somebody redeemed the hats off to you. In case you didn't know what that means I need to put a hat on, or if I'm already wearing a hat, I need to put another hat on. I'm not in mine gaffing now.
Alright, I'll get that.
He's got to get me a hat.
Fuck's sake.
He's got to get me a hat. It's 1,000 channel point, or 1,000 club card points, mate.
I need to do it now.
No, you don't need to do it. Alright.
What is that? Day?
I'll do it. I'll do. There you go.
People watching my stream, they will not know what's happening. Oh, I thought you might have put 2 on at the same time.
No.
Oh, I look fucking gangster.
You just change hats.
I would watch you news every day if the cunt came home looking like I was doing it now, mate.
Oh, aye.
And just going like that. It's happening, trips.
I was just...
The minute you walk down the joint.
I'll have that gone.
You look 13 and you look like an actual wee grime artist or something. That's taking away with the process.
Isn't it?
Right, what are we talking about now? We're still talking about this crazy. I think we should keep on this subject just now. Because there is possibly radioactive cider out there that might make you...
Apparently it's coming out here as well. The Ukrainian government seized a shipment that was meant to be coming out here. And that's just the first bottles that have been found, I believe, to be mere, I'm assuming, if it's just the first bottles.
You need to hit up any Ukrainians.
Yeah, you got some of that.
Is that how you say it? Ukrainian?
Ukrainian, aye.
That's a fun word to say, isn't it?
Ukrainian, aye.
It sounds like cranium.
No, that's the other.
Ukrainian. Oh yeah, I've got a bit of controversial, and it's not really positive, but we need to talk about it, right? Because we've got the Queen's cousin, right?
Queen's cousin, who's that?
I don't know. She's no. I don't even think the person's worth naming. It's just the news haven't named him. I think it's still getting kept quiet just now, but it's been found out that she traded, sold royal assets. We don't know what of them, and like when you actually hear who they sold it to, it will make you laugh. I repeat that. The royal family, right? The Queen Mother, the Queen of England's cousin, sold royal family assets to Vladimir Putin.
So Putin was sitting one day and he's went, I could do with a pair of the Queen's knickers, by the way.
Better than the sparkly ones.
We've got some more info here. Fuck, that's way too. Did Queen Elizabeth marry her cousin throughout 70 years of marriage? Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip shared priceless memories and moments together, but share a lot more than that. The royals are cousins. She married Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha in 1840, and together they had 9 children. Oh, that's the royal family's full of.
But it's just
German
like,
and German.
just to put in the bit of like Britain or England's relationship with like Russia is like, it's one at Tom, like, it goes up and down. You had the Russian spies.
That's the same with every country in Russia.
True, because the Putin's crazy, isn't it? He's got pictures of dancing.
It's not just Putin that's crazy, it's just
Russia
every
in general,
single Russian fucking military leader.
Or just every Russian is a bit
Every
crazy, isn't it?
yeah, aye. I don't think I've ever met a Russian that's just kind of like that. They're all kind of
Sorry,
up and about, aren't they?
right.
Eh,
Just remember, in a past life I was Russian.
aye, were you?
When he was Vladimir.
His name was Vlad.
I was the dude, bit here and bit there.
Right.
We'll leave that there.
About a thingy, another bit of breaking news that came in this morning.
And this morning,
And
fresh after the
it came
press.
in this morning, right? A bombing close to a secondary school left 50 people dead and more than 100 injured in the Afghan capital of Kabul.
God bless our souls.
That was so it's an area that was a suspected car bomb.
Fuck's sake,
It was,
Near a school.
near a secondary school, like, as the secondary school was coming out.
I know that ties in perfectly to my question that I asked earlier on. If you knew about everything in life, would it be worth living? Look at the shit that we're subjected to day
But
in and day out.
but there's a lot you could do if you knew everything in life.
But see, yes, knowing everything in life is different from being able to change everything in life, because a lot of people are very intelligent people, but we can't like
Aye,
collectively stop this machine that's been built. There was also and this is what I mean, it's like hard for us to go and find positive information because everything that makes the news has always got a negative narrative.
Like,
And I know like disaster because there was also Mexico City, there was an actual public train that crashed in Mexico City. And, like, the bridge broke down and it snapped and there was loads of deaths and stuff like that, and it makes a lot of news, and like the coronavirus makes a lot of news, and if that's all the information that we're constantly being given,
Exactly.
then it programs us in a way to always look for a negative narrative or expect negativity to come to us.
is that another sadly negative thing? This was the other night. 2 women and a 4-year-old child were shot after an argument broke out between a separate group of men, resulting in one of them pulling a gun in Times Square. All the victims were unconnected to each other, but none of them had life-threatening injuries. All of them were alright. But 2 women and a 4-year-old Wayne in a stroller was shot because a couple of guys started fighting in Times Square and one of them pulled a gun.
It's really it's a pretty sad place that we live in. But that ties us into something, and it's a gun law in America, and like, doesn't matter how many people that happens to, they're always going to have that.
Yep.
It's always going to, because it's like one of the main like lynches on the machine that they've got on people. Keep a hostile environment and allow people to make it easier to buy a gun than it is to get a house.
Yep, exactly. A bit of weird news was the UK and France dispatched military patrol vessels
Seen that.
to the Isle of Jersey amid a row over post-Brexit fishing rights. That was on Friday.
Basically, Jersey's coming out and saying the UK government are trying to kill them.
Aye.
And I don't mean kill them like literally, I mean like kill their industry, kill the tax there, because there in Jersey you can go there and not pay as much tax.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? It's a lesser rate, it's a better way of living. Plus it's also out the coast, so you're doing a lot of fishing, blah blah blah. But basically Brexit are legit. So they held a protest and there was loads of boats used out in the water, weren't they?
Yep. The military patrol vessels.
Aye, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm talking about a load of officials gathered to
Oh,
form
aye,
a
aye,
protest. Wait, how can I put it? This is a thing that I would have questioned, right? How can a protest out on sea get out of hand where you have to send the military to them? What can they do? They're out in the water. There's no other humans out there. Can you know just let them float out there protesting happily away?
Exactly.
I don't know, maybe if they were blocking a shipping lane. If they were blocking a shipping lane, then I understand that. But if they're all out there just fucking protesting, why send military to them? And tying into that, other thing, a couple of years, I think it might have been, but the Alcatraz had a riot right in the 70s, and they sent the Marines in for civilians. Prisoners are like still civilians. They've committed a crime and they're in there, but like Alcatraz riot was that bad that they sent the Marines in, and it was the only time in American history that they've done that.
According to Infinity, there on May 6th, a town in Japan spent 230,000 in COVID relief funds on a 43-foot squid statue.
We actually spoke about the classic squid last week, didn't we?
Aye, we did, aye.
I saw Tyne and beautiful.
But 230.
Grand for a giant squid.
Aye.
They love their squids, but
But it was for COVID relief funds they spent it on.
Nah, but COVID's fake anyway, but
we've proven that, haven't we?
The whole human race. Last week, mate. That was easy peasy, man. That was just another way for them to send us in and make us recalibrate and don't let people close to us, and then isolate us away from a wee command and force us onto these things that you're sitting watching us on technology now.
A funny one was about the Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul press conference. Did you see that?
No, I didn't, man. I went there to see it, bastard. You've just reminded me of it. Because I'm not actually going to watch this. Like, Floyd Mayweather is one of the best boxers, one of the best Dodgers boxers that there is.
Yes.
Ever. He's got the record to show it, do you know what I mean?
50 51 sorry.
I don't know, Conor McGregor, because he's not a boxer. That's just, when he started doing that, I'm like, oh, mate, go and fight him in the octagon, and then I'll give you the win.
Aye, exactly.
Then I'll give you the win, then you can judge both fights, do you know what I mean?
But a fight broke out at the press conference because Logan Paul stole Mayweather's hat.
Seriously?
Yep.
I've not seen this. I'm going to actually go watch this as soon as this is finished, man.
And that resulted in Mayweather punching Paul in the face.
What, in the actual press conference?
Yes.
That's
He
cool,
got a hook.
man.
He got a hook in.
That is absolutely amazing.
Floyd was talking about Logan's Japan situation, and Logan came out and said he's 51 to 1 because he beat his wife. That was one of the things he blew out. That was one of the things Paul blew out. That was Jake Paul that said that, but it wasn't Logan. So
I'm actually interested about the fight because clearly the man's beating people. Do you know what I mean?
it's
going to be. I think it'll be interesting to see.
it'll be interesting to see.
But let's
get his cunt kicked in. The odds will be astronomical.
let's look at who's got more to lose and gain in the situation.
Oh, 100% Mayweather. 100%.
Mayweather can lose everything and gain nothing.
Yes, exactly.
And he'll gain admiration from people like me who want to see that Logan guy get his cunt kicked in.
Aye, I don't think there's no many people on earth that don't want to see the guy get his cunt
Aye,
kicked in.
I heard one. See one every day. Have you heard the tune every day?
No.
See if you want to deplete brain cells, go and listen to their tune every day. Honestly, seriously, there's a bit that when this bird comes in and she's trying to rap and stuff, and she says, "I'm smelling of your man's cologne." I think that's one of her bars.
Logan literally was it Logan or Jake? They're both the same person in my eyes.
They're clones. YouTube created them.
But he literally got hooked into fucking outer space, by the way. He got literally it was one hook and he was seen literally greeting, walking away. And this guy's meant to be fighting him.
This is going to make a tasty fight. This will be pay-per-view gold, man.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if they've orchestrated that beforehand.
Oh, I mean,
Floyd Mayweather, he's a professional fighter. I'm sure he could hit somebody at 25%, and it might hurt, and it might look like it hurt, but he's not dinking you.
Aye, exactly. I mean, all the heated press conferences have been over the last, That's one. It's one of the only ones to actually break out in an actual scrap.
Usually it's all fisticuffs and it's all just for show, and they
Aye.
get really close to each other. Sorry.
Maybe even a spit or here or there. Or
Oh, Jeff's came out. Sorry.
hitting somebody's hat off or something like that.
Aye, like pure nonsense.
But the weekend literally went, got your hat, and
Maybe I just banged him.
it just went from. Everybody was
Yeah,
trying to pull him off him and all
I
that, but he
respect
just
that,
opened it, just doof, doof, doof.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go and watch that as soon as it's
Aye,
out.
we'll go and watch that. That's everything I've got though.
Is it?
That's everything so
I've
far.
got that's everything for me. What's your reflection on the week?
Eh,
The reflection on that week would be.
Quite a boring week to be honest with you, wasn't it? There wasn't much that was happening. It was just kind of.
Did you achieve anything that we need to give props to on Twitch, on your account? Anything like that happened? Hi guys, how you doing?
Snyder game.
Snyder Game, welcome. You're the first person that's joined my actual one.
Michael's streaming as well.
I'm streaming on my channel as well for the first time in months, and I've got my first viewer. I'm feeling famous already. I'm very well, bro.
For next week,
Or
I'll have
female,
I'll
whoever
have
you may be.
for next week I'll have a.
You've literally just came in towards the end of the stream. The Darn Alternative News Channel. This is the Highland Radiator. I'm obviously, so you know I am. How are you? How's life?
Aye.
We've pretty much touched on all the subjects.
It's just
That
quite a
guy for this
mediocre week, wasn't it?
Aye, I didn't really. As I say, it took me a couple of days to get out of my hangover and feeling a bit blue. The weather was particularly bad here. It rained a lot. Aye, there's not really much happened. Aside that, I didn't drink this weekend, and I've slept like 20 odd hours, so I'm happy for that. I'm feeling ready to go for the morning.
I slept 20 hours non-stop. Fucking last night, no last night, the night before. Woke up, went to bed at 2 a.m. and woke up at 7 p.m, which was just mental. Never done it before in my life. But it was something. I've not slept since then.
Anything exciting happening in the week to come?
No.
I don't think I've got anything.
See, if you asked that last week, I would have said Resident Evil 8, but that was a letdown. So.
It's an alternative news podcast called Peace, Love and Happiness. It's basically where me and him write down what happened in the week that we think might be interesting to talk about. Did I read your channel? Why do I read my channel?
You can only rate your channel if he is if he is streaming. Let it right now.
Just in somebody's wanting to big me up. I'll follow him back.
I think
We can almost end it.
I'd say that's
Well, from me, who's been MD in 1986, or Mick, or Michael, whatever you want to know me. From him, who's
me.
it's been a pleasure.
You know who I am.
Stay happy. Promote peace.
Remember to check the stream out 8 o'clock. No, it won't be 8 o'clock. It'll be an earlier one. It'll probably be about 7 o'clock. Or
Right,
maybe even half
plug.
6.
I'll follow you in a minute. And we'll be back next Sunday to do this all again. I'll be posting this on my YouTube channel, so you want to see it, go and follow it.
Between then and then.
So there's a lot forward coming. We'll be taking notes for next week.
I'll sort out commands the day for Mick's Twitch and his YouTube. So aye. But until next week.
Until next week, how do I stop this?
Oh, see you later. Just press.
You better do. Who is this man?
I don't know. He's not getting a follow back, man.
You better do. You better do. You do.
See you later on.
Peace, love, and happiness.